Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us on Facebook Live and on Zoom here. We are meeting with Arantxa, who's got a wonderful program. We just got connected this year, and everybody at the Basque Museum was really impressed with this program and what they have going on. And so we wanted to give them an opportunity to share it with our community here in Boise and explain this program and what it is. Have a deadline for the fall program that's coming up here really soon. So that's why this was a little bit rushed to get this on the calendar, but we will be hearing from them more in the future, I am sure. So anyways, this is going to be really brief, only maybe 20, 30 minutes. Is that right? About 30 minutes maybe. And so feel free to stick around and get your questions answered and learn more about this really neat program. So without much further ado, I will pass this over to Spanish Gap Year to tell us all about their cool program.
Thanks, Kylie. It's our pleasure to be here. My name is Arantxa López, as Kylie said, and I am delighted to join you today. I am from Vitoria in the Basque Country. I grew up there, and we now have a wonderful program called Spanish Gap Year Spain by Train, which is starting in September, as Kylie mentioned. So we thought we would show you a brief video to give you a taste of our landscapes, and then we'll do a quick presentation to talk about the program structure and the learning outcomes.
Hi, I'm Arantxa López, and I'm the director of our Spanish Gap Year program, Spain by Train. It is a 12-week program where you will be immersed in real Spanish culture while you learn Spanish. With our expert Spanish Gap Year guides, you'll visit our capital, Madrid, with its wonderful museums and Picasso's iconic Guernica painting. We'll cycle or walk the Camino De Santiago. You'll take cooking classes in the Basque Country, the foodie center of the world. We'll climb Picos de Europa, kayak through its canyons, and surf the waters of the Atlantic Ocean. You'll discover modernist architecture in Barcelona and learn about sustainable agriculture and marine science in Valencia. And you'll experience flamenco music in Granada with its World Heritage Site, the Alhambra. Spanish Gap Year will be your trip of a lifetime. You will acquire interpersonal and practical skills that will stand to you for the rest of your life. You'll travel by train, taking in the ever-changing Spanish landscape, chatting to new people, and enjoying the relaxed pace of Spanish life. Click on the Trip tab and hop aboard.
So hopefully that gives you an idea of our landscapes, although I'm sure a lot of you are already familiar with the Basque Country and different regions in Spain. Let me just stop our other videos that are playing in the background. Apologies for that. So let's get into the program itself and the structure of it. First and foremost, I wanted to say, if you have any questions after the presentation, you can get in touch with us through Kylie, through the Basque Museum, and you have our contact details here. You can have a look at our website, SpanishGapYear.com, and there's an apply button, which is not only for applications, but also if you want to connect with one of our team members. So you just leave us your contact details and mention the Basque Museum, and we'll know that you're from that fantastic community in Boise. So first of all, just to give you a bit of an idea of how the program works, it is a 12-week program that starts in Madrid, and that's where we all meet, and we stay there for 3 days briefly to get used to the time difference. And then we travel by train to the Basque Country. So we didn't want to make the program into a tour. We really want it to be a cultural experience where we get to learn Spanish and about the diversity of Spanish culture. And we start with Basque culture. So we are focusing on 3 regions. The first base being the Basque Country, the second one being Salamanca, and the third one being Granada. The program is all about experiential learning. And as we said, it is 3 bases, 3 long trips between bases, and several weekend trips to wonderful cities. So let's have a look. The Basque Country, we spend our first 18 days on. So we do a residential stay there because we like to work on team building and group cohesion at the very start. So everyone is very comfortable with the cohort. And that's where we present our 12 learning modules that we'll get into in a little bit. So after our 18 days in the Basque Country, we do our first long trip to the Camino de Santiago, which we cycle. We do the Camino Primitivo, which is the very first route of the Camino, and we go through Picos de Europa. We do stunning hikes. We surf in Asturias and do canyoning in Cantabria. And then we cycle to Santiago. From there, we take the train down to Salamanca, and that is our second base, where we spend another 18 days. And in Salamanca and Granada, our bases 2 and 3, we do homestays so that we can all experience family routines and interact in Spanish with host families from different regions. I forgot to say, when we're in the Basque Country, we do a weekend in France, in Biarritz, just across the river. It's about a 5-minute boat trip from Ondarribi. And when we are in Salamanca, we take the opportunity of the closeness to Portugal and we do a weekend in Porto. So you get to see 3 countries for the price of 1, which we think is great. And then after Salamanca, we do 10 days in Madrid and Toledo, where we see a lot of art and street culture in Madrid through classical and modern art, through urban art, through film, theater. And we go to Toledo so we can understand how the 3 main religions in Spain have shaped the country and are part of history, before we move on to base 3 in Granada, where we do our base 3 for 18 days. And after Granada, we do 10 days in Barcelona, and that is where the trip ends. All the traveling is done by train, and we chose this form of transport because it is the most sustainable form of travel. And we really want to help do some carbon offsetting from the carbon footprint of our Gappers flights, because most of you will be flying from the US and Canada and overseas. So this will be a huge learning module for us that we'll talk about later. But we chose the train for sustainability reasons. And then, well, we have all the advantages of the train, because Spanish trains are lovely and comfortable. They're super clean and extra clean now through COVID, and they're only filled to half capacity. They're spacious, you can move around, you can go for walks or sit down and journal, sleep, enjoy the landscape, chat to the different people near you. And most of the trains have cafeterias, so you can also go and get a coffee and chat to the locals. So all advantages with trains. Regarding accommodation, I mentioned residential and homestay for our bases. And during the trips, we do, when we're in the Camino in Madrid and in Barcelona, we do really comfortable shared boutique hostel accommodation. So it's not your usual 20 people in a room experience. We stay in our bubble and we share with with 1 or 2 of our peers in rooms that are a max of 3 people, with a private bathroom to keep everything super COVID safe, and our luggage as well, of course. Regarding luggage, actually, we like to travel light. So when we are in bases, and that is what I meant by not making it into a tour, we don't like the idea of moving all the time and carrying our belongings all the time. So when we're on base, our belongings are in our room. And when we are in the hostel, they are safely locked away as well. So we don't have to worry about our things while we are touring, and we can just bring a purse or a small bag for when we're out and about with our bottle of water. That will be refillable for further sustainability. What else? We have a super wide range of activities. So we don't do traditional sitting down classroom teaching. We're learning culture and we're learning language on the go and in interaction. So we do activities from adventure to culture. We do some community service, volunteering in sustainable farming, and social entrepreneurship and leadership, also through cooperative sustainable projects. Before we go into the learning modules, we wanted to just talk a little bit about our core values that for us are the most important thing of the program, and hopefully for you too. So the program is about multiculturality and multilingualism. Mutual respect and inclusivity is the main thing when we are in our group and with our team, forming our team. Sustainability and ethical living, which we already tapped into. Resilience, teamwork, and cooperation is something that we learn and we work on throughout the program. And personal responsibility, accountability, and growth. So this one is about behaving as an individual and as part of a team in an appropriate manner and with positivity and responsibility. The traveling classroom concept that we have, as I said, is about interaction and constant doing, hands-on learning. So there is plenty of downtime, even though it's a structured program. But when we are learning, we are on task. We do it through project-based experiential workshops and different experiences, such as cookery lessons, tours by bike, as I said, a lot of farming workshops. So it's all hands-on. Our learning modules, we have 12, as I said, and we introduced them in our first base in the Basque Country, but they run throughout all the regions and for the 12 weeks. So we have Spanish art, we have theater, film, food, music, dance, history, geography, sport, nature, science, and sustainability. So as you can see, we want to give you a broad range of learning and of content and language. So you really get to have a good sense of what Spanish culture entails and the diversity of all the different regions and how these modules vary from the Basque region to Andalusia, because the food is totally different. The art that has been created in those places is different, and so on. As I said at the beginning, there's only so much that we can go through now during our presentation. We're going to give you room for questions, and Kylie is going to have a chat with me now. But please do reach out afterwards. You have our website, SpanishGapYear.com. You can get us an email, on WhatsApp, or call us old school. You can also arrange a call through our website. Thanks a million.
Thank you so much. That is super interesting. I saw quite a lot of people joining us from Facebook Live. So if anybody is watching from Facebook and has questions, feel free to put them in that comment section while we're doing our little Q&A, and I will pass them on. I think one of the first questions is our flights included in this, or is your flight separate?
The flight is separate. So our fee includes everything from when you get to Spain until you go home. So it includes absolutely all the accommodation, all the meals, all the activities, tours, all the traveling by train, and insurance, of course, but not the airfare.
Well, that's totally reasonable. And what about so I mean, this is a Spanish gap year, so I mean, I know gap years aren't super familiar to Americans sometimes because we're workaholics and we don't know what that means. But your ideal candidate then is somebody who's transitioning from high school to college, or is it a little bit more broad than that?
It's a little bit more broad. So we have gappers joining us straight from high school, after graduating from high school, who are taking a gap year before going into third level education. But we also have some gappers who have done a year or two of a college course, who through COVID have got very tired of learning online, and their university has now decided to maybe stay online for a couple of weeks, and they just don't want to do that anymore. So they're going to take a few months out and come back in the spring, or they're not sure about their course. They're not sure whether they want to perhaps change courses. And we also have some gappers who have graduated from college but want to take time out before going into their masters or into work. So there's a broad range there.
Yeah, that's really good to know, because I know that concept of taking some time off is not super familiar. So it's good to know that it's not just for people straight out of high school. I know that your fall deadline is coming right up, like the end of this week. So if somebody is frustrated with their university perhaps and not wanting to do things online and would rather experience things, getting in an application or reaching out to you really soon seems like a really good idea, which is why we scheduled this so quickly. But if they miss fall, when would be the next time that you're hosting one of these courses?
So our application for fall is on the 15th, so this Sunday coming up. And then we'll start taking applications for spring 2022, which will be starting in February 11th. February 14th. It's Valentine's. So, yeah, so as soon as applications for fall are closed, we'll start taking applications for the spring 2022.
And then, so do you do just a fall and a spring to follow the semester cycle? Is that right?
Mm-hmm. That's
Wonderful.
it.
Wonderful. And then, we're the Basque Museum. So this is Spanish gap year, not Basque gap year. So I'm sure I will get some questions about how this is relevant for our Basque community, but I'll just kind of reiterate and back me up with what you think, that you spend a whole chunk of your module in the Basque country. Are you doing any euskera work? I mean, is it like how prevalent is Basque culture in this? Like, I'm trying to make the argument that my Basque people is so good for you.
Oh, thank you. No, absolutely. Basque is, of course, our own culture, my partners and I. So that is why we spend the first 3 weeks there, because we think that Basque culture is so enriching and so great to get to know, because a lot of things we know about, but there are so many things that we don't expect or don't know about. So it is very relevant for the Basque community. It's a full 3 weeks in the Basque country where we go to, well, we base ourselves in Vitoria, but we go to Bilbao, we go to San Sebastian and the Rioja region, and we do modules on history and on the political structure and how the economy has evolved, and what is our economy like, what our economy is like right now. We do, of course, a module on euskera, and we talk about with the origins of euskera and what we don't know about euskera, the age that we don't know, and we give them some books for reference that they read in their free time. Mark Korlinski's is one of them. So Basque culture will definitely be a huge part of the program. They'll get to see a little bit of the French Basque country as well as the southern side. So they'll get to see a lot. And in Hondarribia and San Sebastian, and when we're in more rural areas, they'll get to use the bits of Basque that we've seen. In Vitoria, we'll ask them to do a linguistic landscape activity where they go out and research with their phones, looking for Basque words and words in other languages to get an idea of what our community is like, because it's Basque and Spanish, but it's also a lot of different languages that come into play from immigration and people who move to Vitoria because it's a great city to live in. We've been food capital and green capital, so we have a lot to show.
Yeah, of course. Wonderful. Great. And then what's the I can't remember if I asked this, I don't think I did. What's like the group size? It's quite small, yeah?
Yes, we like to keep our group small, so our maximum number is 12.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, so that's such a one-on-one experience. And do you think do you need travel experience to do this, or can we have first timers? They're going to get taken care of. You'll be just fine.
Absolutely. First timers are so welcome. We look after everything in terms of logistics, and it is a structured program, so we accompany them. We also allow for independent time, but it is structured, and you are with one of our team members. You have access to us if you need us 24/7, both gappers and parents on the other side. And then there are 3 of us rotating, who I will be one of the leaders in the fall and in the spring next year. So you'll have me as a reference, and 2 of my teammates will be with us throughout the journey as well. And then in the different regions, of course, you'll get to meet our expert leaders of that region.
That's so neat. What a wonderful, it makes me wish that I was in college and needed to do this, because this is, from somebody who's done a lot of traveling, this is a really wonderful way. Maybe it costs a little more than you're thinking. I could do that myself for nothing, but I guarantee you, if you are thinking that, the logistics they take care of are worth it. That's why. Because, and then you also get college credit too, right? Can you apply for college credit?
Yeah, we have optional college credits at no extra cost. So you can apply for 6 college credits and bring them back to the US. So it is.
Yeah, what do you have to lose? I mean, if it was between online classes or doing this fall, I know what I would be choosing. So,
well, Kaylee, we are really thinking of doing a version of it in 2023 for other grown-ups, because we've had huge demand from people who are working age or even retired age who really want to do some form of the program. So keep an eye out for it.
We will definitely keep an eye out. And for my audience, if that's something that you are interested in, I mean, I think the museum gets requests for tours or classes, or I'm going to the Basque Country and could you hook us up? I mean, we get that almost weekly. So this would be a great connection, even if right now is not the right time for our adults. If this is something you're interested in, please do give feedback to the museum. Just give us like a DM, send us an email, make a comment. Hey, I'd be really interested in that, so that we know, and we can keep working on this relationship that we have with Spanish Gap Year, because I'm like 99.9% sure that we'll have some adults who are out of their college years who would just love to do something like this. So
we'd love to have them.
Oh my gosh, yeah, careful what you wish for. You're gonna have the Boise community flooding you every year. But no, that is just wonderful. I don't think I have any other questions. Is there anything else that you want to mention for any of our viewers? We had probably 20-25 people watching from Facebook, so that's great. So we are going to keep this recording as well. This will live on our YouTube for a while, as well as our video section on our Facebook page, so people can reference it later. And always, I mean, we mentioned it before, but if you have questions, you can contact just about anybody at the Basque Museum and we'll connect you, or directly to Spanish Gap Year. But either way. So yeah, any parting words for our listeners today?
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure. I hope that we can do this sometime soon again. And yeah, I can't wait to hear from you guys.
Wonderful. Well, best of luck. And I will just stop our live stream and stop recording, and then chat. So thank you everyone for joining us.